Cruise ship, hotel workers of Reddit. What is something you aren't allowed to tell us? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will hack your smartphone. Odds are, someone died on your cruise. Think about all the old folks you see get onto the boat. For a lot of them this is their retirement home, and cheaper than a lot of other retirement homes. They are literally taking cruises until they die and we eventually find them in their cabins. I was on a cruise late last year, and we had 2 deaths. One was an older lady who had a heart attack in the casino, and the other was a positively ancient man who fell asleep in one of the lounges and never woke up. So yeah, definitely a possibility. That's a nice way to go, at least. Yep, a heart attack in a casino is the way I want to exit. I mean, what are the odds? Get a free fridge in your room. Say it is a medical need for medication. HIPAA laws mean they can't pressure details out of you. May not work for smaller hotel, but should for most larger hotels, cruises. Vegas hotel worker here. It works. If it's not for meds, I'm supposed to charge you, but I don't, because I don't get paid enough. You're my favorite type of worker. Not allowed to sleep with guests. Tons of work cessed instead. Cruise. Sounds like it doesn't stop much of it. There's a crew bar. I've heard this. And I've also heard that crew members have gotten in trouble for bringing passengers in there while trying to get laid. Ex-Disney cruise crew. You get fired for interacting with guests that way. Sure, that's just not a Disney thing. I mean, it sounds pretty bad when the headline reads Disney employee, followed by anything involving X with a customer. Yeah, but Disney people are more likely to slip you a Mickey. I currently work as a housekeeper, seasonal, summer. People leave anything and everything behind. Forget your curling iron? We probably have one. Need a charger? Yep. Toys for your child? You got it. If you ask, while we're in between rooms or cleaning a common area, we'd love to help you out. No one really asks. Edit these occurrences. Policies may not be the case at every hotel. Calm down. I've worked for 2 hotel chains and the comforter thing was true at both. That's always my travel advice. Take the damn comforter off the bed as soon as you check in. So what are we supposed to use instead? Bring your own comforter. And pillows. And bed. And floor. That seems rather inconvenient. Hotels should have bring your own hotel. We'll provide the land specials. The staff on most all cruise lines are not trained nearly well enough to handle an abandoned ship situation. It would be chaos if it were to happen on a large vessel. The safety briefing you go to is just theater and we want to be there even less than you do. Norovirus is way more common on ships than you would think. Security staff on ships are poorly equipped to handle a major security breach like an active shooter situation. The words bright star over the P.A. indicates a medical emergency is happening and is a page for medical staff to respond. The captain earns bonuses for saving fuel. Leaving port early or arriving late means the ship can go slower and conserve fuel, which means more money for the captain. I worked for a fancy restaurant in a tourist town that catered to cruise line passengers looking to get away from the ships. Our desserts were frozen and shipped us from a company named Gourmet Chef, so when you read the menu description, and we say that all of our desserts are prepared by gourmet chefs, we aren't lying. They were just reheated and prepared by a high school kid making $3 an hour. Straight out of the movie Waiting. Hotel worker here. Ask for everything you need, it will be provided. Also complain about every problem you see. You won't believe the amount of free stuff complainers get. It's awful. And never forget to tip your bellboy. At the Fairfield Inns and Suites, they are only supposed to comp you 1 room. I found a used condom, shoot in the bathtub, and a handgun in my room. They comped me 2 weeks worth of rooms. Oh, God. You just reminded me of the time a woman came to the front desk screaming at me about her baby finding a used condom in the bed. The husband stood between her and me and kept telling her to calm down and that it's not that big of a deal. He flushed it down the toilet. The baby is fine. Now, I can see why a mother would flip out over her baby playing with some stranger's condom. But, backstory. Man checks into hotel with young woman. Woman leaves next morning. His wife and kids show up that evening to stay for the second night. Do the math. Ex-hotel employee here. If you ever need to cancel a hotel reservation, but it's already past the cancellation deadline, just call and move your reservation up a few days. Wait 5 minutes. Call back, now well within the cancellation window, and cancel your stay for free. Hotel worker here. I wouldn't do it. I would get in hot water. The next shift however would have no way of knowing when your reservation was changed and would absolutely cancel it for you. Yeah, I was gonna say. This won't work unless you get a different person each time, and even then they're probably gonna see the change on the notes and just send it up to a manager. No one has ever even tried this at my hotel, though I see it posted all the time here and we are total a-holes about cancellations. I've read quite a few things about people dying, disappearing while on cruises. Can anyone confirm the magnitude of this? I don't know the answer to your question, but there was another cruise ship thread on AskReddit once where a guy described a disappearance. Apparently a teenage girl was trying to get into her boyfriend's cabin without her parents knowing about it by climbing around over the railings of the ship. She fell overboard and no one saw. By the time anyone realized she was gone, it was several hours later and the ship was a few hundred miles away. Apparently they picked it up on one of the cameras. Can you imagine being those parents? Can you imagine falling into the water and watching the ship sail off? This has happened to me before when I was in the Navy. During a rescue drill for a man overboard, when recovering the fast rescue boat, there was a malfunction of the recovery hook and it ended up flipping the boat and the crane hook smashed me in the face. It happened so fast that I don't remember much, but when I came around I was in the water. My PFD had inflated and the crewman was cradling my bleeding head in his hands. The rescue boat was still connected to the painter line, rope, alongside the vessel, so they had to spend a while attempting to break the crane hook's hold on the rescue boat so they could launch the second one to come and get us. The aft end of a ship has a white light at night time for navigational safety purposes, and I remember just seeing it disappear off into the night, in about 4-5 meters seas, and my crewmate crying as we watched it sail off. Took about 2.5 hours before they managed to come back and get us. But they kept circling our position so we knew they had an idea of where we were, as our life jacket lights were working. Haven't thought about this in ages, haha. Scary stuff. I worked as an improv actor on a cruise once for 6 months. What we don't tell you is half the show is scripted. We just time your suggestions. That norovirus is more common than you think. I missed a family cruise once cause I had just landed an important job. Norovirus destroyed the vacation. My brothers said it was good I didn't go on that one. Worst time of my freaking life. My mother and I caught it from this really sick dude working at the gas station on Christmas. He was waiting for someone to come cover him so he could go home. He tried to be as clean as possible, with face mask and gloves, but we still got it. I lost 20 pounds in 4 days, because nothing would stay down. We both lived off Pedialyte and popsicles the entire time. 0 out of 10, would not recommend, ever. Not even if I want to lose 20 pounds. IKEA, it'll take one virus please. Yeah, I can finally answer this. I work at an upscale resort. Nights average $500 a night. I work in the entertainment department, meaning we help with both the daycare center and with large groups in-house that companies host. I will say that our child daycare is pretty safe. The only sketchy thing I would say is that we will always tell you that your kid had a good time, regardless if they had been crying up until just before you got there. Parents leave their numbers with us to call if the kid wants to go home, but whenever a kid complains that they want to go home, we do everything in our power to make sure that they stay. Cause $$. Also the in-group activities that we do, biking, hiking etc., are sometimes made up on the spot, since the entertainment dept decided not to properly train us in all of our offered activities. Newer staff, generally the people that only work summers, are told the morning of that they're running a certain activity and given a really vague rundown of how it's supposed to go and told to do their best to make stuff up, but make sure it sounds good. Companies pay thousands of dollars for these activities, but I can assure you the thought that goes into these activities is essentially zero. Yep. Worked as a counselor at a camp a few years. I told the director during my interview that I could teach football, kickball, soccer, tennis, baseball, survival skills. We got our itinerary each morning so we constant plan. What do I get? Swimming, arts and crafts, basketball, theater. Like what the frick am I supposed to teach these kids if I don't know what I'm teaching? Theater was improv, swimming was improv, arts and crafts was improv. I basically told them to do whatever they wanted as long as it pertained to the class. The only thing I got to teach that I actually loved and knew about was hiking, survival training. Everyone loved my class in that. I'm a front desk manager at a hotel. I want to jump in and say something before this gets real big. When this kind of thread pops up, someone always says that the front desks can upgrade or change rates for a guest if the guest is nice to them, tips them. While this may happen sometimes, it is not common. If one of my employees gave someone a cheapo rate, he has to explain why. It will come up in our reports. That being said, hotels are a ton of fun. I can't think of any big secrets, but I will say this. If you have any questions or requests, no matter how stupid or weird, let the staff know. We love to help people. That's why we went into the industry. And it makes it a lot better for both the guest and the staff when we can help you while you're still in the hotel, and not when you're calling corporate after checkout to complain. Former GM here. Those damn reports. The rate thing is true, but I was always down for upgrading people. Happy guests made the bad days better. Granted, this was at a franchise owned by a small management company, so at worst I'd just have to answer to a pissed off revenue manager. We went to a wedding a few years ago and had booked a room with most of the group. On checking in, there was a problem. We were bummed. It was the hotel's frick up, but I've never been able to get mad at someone who's trying to help. And the desk guy was most certainly trying to help, but there just wasn't anything available in the city we were in. My husband and I were frustrated, but good-humored about the whole thing until desk clerk gives us a conspiratorial look, excuses himself, comes back smiling. Well, I guess something opened up, he says, and finishes checking us in. We take our key cards up to the top floor, sadly away from the group, but no biggie, we're still in the same place at least. And we walk into the biggest freaking hotel suite I've ever seen. Our Brooklyn apartment would have fit in the living room. There's more than one level. The wide glass room of everything has a sweeping view of the city. We have a minor panic. Are we getting charged for this? But no, I've been charged for the room we originally booked. There's a knock on the door, and we realize the jig is up, but nope. It's room service, bringing up champagne and macarons. The card is for some lady we've never heard of. She ain't us. All we can piece together is that it's her suite, but desk clerk has, for whatever reason, put us in it, because we're nice dudes, because gay desk clerk was happy to help a couple brothers out. After an hour we can finally relax in the jacuzzi. Needless to say, the bulk of the wedding partying gravitates to our suite. The bride is playfully furious that we got it, but is happy to have somewhere to go that her parents are unaware of. It ends up being a great vacation. Okay Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will hack your smartphone.